Hydra and the Hand team up to kidnap, kill, revive, and brainwash Wolverine and send him on a murder mission against the other heroes of the Marvel Universe. I'm talking about Enemy of the State. Grab your cup of coffee and let's check out this book. All right, so here we have it. This is the Enemy of the State. It's called the Complete Edition. There was a trade paperback of this oversized hardcover, and then it's also in the Mark Millar Wolverine omnibus. But I don't. A, it's terribly out of print, and B, I'm not a big fan of the Old Man Logan stuff, so I chose to collect it in this thinner OHC, Enemy of the State. This story takes place immediately following the Greg Rucka era, which I recently reviewed, and I'll throw a little thing of it up here so you can check that out. I love the Greg Rucka era. And this run is quite a bit different. This is a true comic book story. This is not any kind of, there's not a lot of character development here. This is just Wolverine doing what he does best. So again, it's John Romita Jr., inks by Klaus Janson. And let's get into it. Ooh, an introduction by Garth Ennis. This is really cool. He talks about how he hates superhero comics, but when his buddy Mark Millar got on Wolverine, he absolutely loved it. Here is the way John Romita is going to draw Wolverine. He draws him kind of lanky and kind of like skinny. Not a big fan of the way he draws him, but the story starts out, Wolverine's called by his ex-fiancée or wife, I forget, a cousin saying, you know, our kid's been kidnapped and we need your help. And Wolverine, of course, says yes, and he's got to go to Japan to do it. We're introduced to this new character called the Gorgon. I think his name is the Gorgon. And he'll show up later in later stories of X-Men and Wolverine. But anyways, he is leading Hydra, and Hydra and the Hand have teamed up, and that's can't be a good thing. Wolverine is found, and as he awakens, he's not in the right mental state. You can see here he just slaughters a nurse, a S.H.I.E.L.D. nurse, and his first mission, after being reprogrammed by Hydra and the Hand, is to go after and take down S.H.I.E.L.D. Elektra, who was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time, is the first to respond, and it's really cool because they've got some significant history. If you remember the no-nose era of Wolverine, which I actually really like, the post-issue 100, where I think it was Exodus tries to put the adamantium back into him, and it fails, and Wolverine goes feral. I really like that. It was only like 10 or 15 issues, but Elektra steps in and decides to help him out. So they go at it, and this really cool... I think Wolverine's going to punch a shark here. Yep, no, he kills a shark. But really cool first issue or second issue into this thing, showing him going after S.H.I.E.L.D. Then we see him go after the Fantastic Four. So Wolverine breaks into the Baxter building and is after the Fantastic Four and goes head-to-head with Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm. And there's a really cool... A lot of people didn't like later on when they did the Hot Claws thing after Wolverine came back. I know I hated it, but here is kind of where it originated. I think, let's see if we can find a picture of it. Johnny grabs him and heats him up, and it heats his claws up. I don't remember where. There it is. So I think that's probably the first Hot Claws that we've ever seen. Elektra getting ready to go back after him again. Nick Fury. Oh, so Wolverine goes after Daredevil. And I think this was kind of a ruse to get, the Hand wanted to get to Elektra again, because, you know, they've got history as well, right? And to do that, he goes after Daredevil, the ex-boyfriend of Elektra. And they have a really cool fight. Wolverine's been given some upgrades in his murder / revive / brainwashing thing. He's been given, so he can teleport short distances. He can go invisible. It's kind of silly, but it really suits the story. Um, Wolverine does end up killing a mutant, a fellow mutant, when he goes after the X-Men, and it is pretty devastating to him. But this is I got to show you this. So I don't know if I've mentioned it, but the first half is Wolverine under control of Hydra in the hand, but Shield eventually wins out and gets him back. Strong bonk on the head or something stupid like that. But Captain America and Shield are talking, and what are we gonna do? And Fury says, "We got our little killing machine back." And I absolutely love that little piece of dialogue. Mark Millar really knowing the characters. So now we get into Wolverine Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's going to be Wolverine going after Hydra in the hand, and he's going to kill some people. Um, he is the best at what he does. Best there is at what he does. There we go. So here you've got some of they recapture Elektra, but here's some of the other B-list heroes and villains that Hydra in the Hand have taken under their control and sent on missions to find more heroes so that they can kill them and reanimate them and take over their brains. So this is Wolverine taking down a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, I assume this is. Really cool covers. I don't know who did something land, and then Richard Isanove, his painting is really cool. I think every issue ends with like this big splash page with pretty cool art from John Romita. Oh, this was really so. Wolverine finds some old decommissioned Sentinels that S.H.I.E.L.D. had in their garage or something like that, and says, I need to use these. And Wolverine uses a Sentinel. There's again, a big splash page. Wolverine riding a Sentinel, taking him on the rest of his mission. So he's after this character called the Gorgon, as I mentioned before. And we'll see if we can find another picture of the Gorgon. And he's a mutant, and his powers are, here it is. His powers are that if he looks into you with his eyes, you will turn to stone. He's also just super good at karate and sword fighting. But the fight that we get, Wolverine just gets the absolute crap kicked out of him. But, he's a healer. And so we get the final issue of this arc, him going against the Gorgon. And because it's a comic book, I can imagine where this is going to go. Wolverine's probably going to win. This issue, or this book, ends with issue 32 of the relaunched Wolverine. And it is by Mark Millar and art by someone else. This is a really cool story. This imagines Wolverine as a prisoner of Auschwitz back in World War II, and he is kind of tormenting this this guard. And this is kind of like the guard remembering this ghost or this creature, this man that won't die and keeps coming after him. And this is a really cool story. This is worth owning just for this story. But yeah, that is Wolverine, Enemy of the State by Mark Millar and John Romita Jr. So I'm not the biggest fan of Mark Millar or Miller. I don't even know how to say his name. I think I've read Kick-Ass back when it came out. But not a big fan of his. I haven't read a lot of his stuff, so I couldn't tell you about his other work. But I am a big fan of John Romita Jr. And I love John Romita Jr.'s early stuff in X-Men, Daredevil. I love his Spider-Man. I did not love his Wolverine. I just didn't like the way he drew him. Does it take away from the story? No. This is still a fantastic story. Is it a deep character study on Logan or James Howlett or Wolverine? No, it's not that deep. This is a summer action movie. It's, what is it, 20, it's like 6, 12, 13 issues? I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll put it up here. Just absolute action. This is a summer action flick. Wolverine, some bad things being done to him, like has been done in the past, and he goes on a murder mission against some of his friends, and bad things happen. But when he gets his brain fixed, he goes on a revenge mission. And it's an absolutely awesome story. Check it out, and I can't wait to see you on the next review. See you later.
Hey, Omnibuds! Be sure to check out the Omnibuds Cafe merchandise store where you can buy mugs, t-shirts, stickers, We're using earnings to buy equipment for YouTube and to fund more giveaways. Who doesn't like giveaways? So click the link in the description and start shopping.